Well, I keep telling myself that I'm gonna actually finish off a project, and I get like halfway done, 3/4 of the way done, and well, I kind of get shiny object syndrome. When something else pops up and it looks more interesting, I'll jump on it and I'll go take a look at it, and that's what I did here. And I got myself into something a little bigger than I expected, actually. This here is behind me, it's a Massey Ferguson 399, I believe, and this is like a 90 horsepower tractor. And along with it, I also got a Kubota Excavator, and I've got some mowers. I've got a 3-point auger, and there's like a 3-point forklift attachment as well that I picked up all at the same place. And so like I said, I was really trying to finish off a project, and well, now I got more projects. So good for you guys, because you get to see a whole lot more. But I'm gonna go through these one by one. We'll take a look at them and we'll decide what we're gonna do with them. But for sure, they have to get out of here fairly quick. So I'm gonna have to try and get them to run or winch them onto the trailer. I think my main focus is gonna be that excavator, because I really don't wanna winch that thing on. Hopefully we can just drive it on under its own power, but let's take a look around, see what we got. I haven't taken a very close look at these. I just had to make an offer really quick and kind of hope for the best. So let's look. All right, this is a Massey. This is the 399. It is, I believe it's a 6-cylinder Perkins diesel, if I'm correct. I have to look that up, but I believe that's what it is. The last owner had an issue, as you can see, with the front loader. He didn't grease it up, and so it ended up, I'll show you on the loader, it ended up blowing out the entire side of it and destroyed it. So we're gonna have to try and fix that. It's got hydraulic lines disconnected here. It has not been run in years. They're not exactly sure how long it's been sitting here, but by the sign of the bird excrement, you can tell it has been here for a little while. It's pretty crusty, been sitting here, and they have no idea, the owners have no idea, or the previous owners have no idea what else, if anything, is wrong with it. They don't know if it moves, they don't know if it runs or drives. So that's all to be determined. You can see flat tire here. I don't see anything, like any holes in it. It looks like we can just fill that up, I'm hoping, and get that to roll. But nice crusty layer of bird poop here on the top. They thought that was an owl up above, but actually there's a nest. I'm not quite sure what they are. There's some kind of birds up there. Pretty cool though. So you can see some of the valves. These things are completely crusted over. And the front end of it here. So we'll go through it. We'll take a look at the oil, do the basics, that kind of thing. This guy though, since the hydraulics are opened, you can see they're not capped or anything, and it's, you know, like I said, no telling how long it's been sitting here. I don't trust the fact that nothing's gotten into that system, and I really don't want to just go ahead and reconnect lines or plug lines and try and turn it over, because it might just suck a bunch of crap into the system, which will just cause a lot more work for us later. So plan of attack on this one, I think, is to winch it onto a trailer and pull it home and then take a deeper dive into it. So for this one right here, this is just going to be a load out. Now let's go look at the excavator and see what we got. Actually, really quick, before we do that, you can see the Gannon box on the back, hydraulic top and tilt system on it. Actually, there's not. I thought there was a top and tilt, but there is not. But you can see the hydraulic ram here somewhere. There it is, back there. And that allows the rippers to be controlled remotely from the seat, so you can either dig them deeper into the ground or pull them back up, whatever you choose to do. And like you can see, there's a chain on this one here where someone's pulled it up into the up position and just let it sit. And we got some parts and pieces laying around right here. Some more stuff on the ground. Oh, so we're gonna look at the excavator, but we still have this front loader to go and take a look at too. You can see over here in the field, this is where he dropped the loader. Everything's been removed off of it. And down here, I don't know if you can see it with that shadow in there, but that hole's not supposed to go all the way through. So that'll be a fun fix. But But everything else, from what I can see so far, I have not pulled this out of the weeds or anything just to look. So what I can tell is, from what I can tell, it's just that one spot. Let's go look over here though real quick. Yeah, I can't tell down there. There is a chain. We'll have to dig that out of the ground to take a better look, but hopefully it's just that one side. We'll find out here shortly. All right, the new setup worked pretty good. We got the trailer up here, and unfortunately I didn't get to film too much of it because the owner was hanging around. He didn't want to be on film, so we had to kind of cut the camera around him, but we got it up here, and now I'm just gonna chain it down and hit the road. This right here is what originally brought me out here, and I bought this, and let's take a closer look here. So again, this was just kind of a make a quick offer on it and get it out off the property as soon as possible. I don't know much about it. All I know is it's old, it's crusty, and I did a quick search online, and you can see that's a Kubota. They actually call it a backhoe, which is interesting, but it's a KH10D, and from what I can tell, this is actually one of the first Kubota excavators sold here in the States. And this one is fairly crusty. You can see, you know, it's steel tracks. And what else do we got? Again, I just have not had a chance to really look this thing over completely. Now check that out. What do we got going on here? It looks like this was originally intended to slide. Someone welded some plates on here to stop it, it looks like. That's weird. Wonder why they did that. But hoses on it are pretty well worn. There is new hose here. Yay. one new hose. The rams here though, they don't look too pitted. There's I think on this bottom one, yeah, there was a little bit of pitting going on here on this one. But yeah, you can see around here, this thing's greasy, grimy. And like I said, I just hope we can get this thing to run. This is the one we're gonna try and run or get started here on site. I just do not want to winch this onto a trailer. Now we got a bearing that's bad there, huh? Is it a bearing or a wheel? Oh, that's probably why they welded these brackets on here, because they didn't want to fix these wheels and the bearings that slide this whole assembly over. Interesting, okay. Let's see what else we got on top here. There's another bad one there. Oh well. So, in the back, you can see the muffler. The muffler is covering the engine compartment. So, I don't know who designed that, if that's factory or what that is exactly, but we'll have to pull this off just to get inside. And there is a Kubota diesel in there. I think it's a 3-cylinder. I haven't been able to look too deep into it. Looks like a 3-cylinder to me. But let's go through it, pull the muffler off, let's get in and check the oil, check fluids, and see if we can get this thing to turn over. All right, there's our first look at it. 3-cylinder Kubota diesel. These are good little engines. And actually the very first thing I'm gonna do here before I start sticking my hand in here is do a really thorough check. We're in rattlesnake territory, so the last thing I wanna do is reach my hand into these corners and find a surprise. And it's happened before. The snakes around here, they do like to kind of find hiding spots in this old equipment and can ruin your day really quick. So I'm gonna spend some time going through this thing top to bottom, because it is springtime and they are coming out right now. I've already seen a few of them, so spend some time off camera looking. Bring you guys back in a minute. All right, all clear. No snakes that I saw, so let's start digging in. We're gonna check the oil first. Nice black oil. It is full. Looks like we got a freeze plug here that's a little rusted. Nothing too concerning though at this point. And let's go up top. So there's the battery. I'm sure that thing's dead. So I brought an extra battery and some cables and stuff just to jump it, but there's our seat. Now we've got our air filter here. Let's get that undone. Nice and dusty. Dust, but let's see, August 95. Pretty sure that means August 1995. Sounds about right though for this one. Nice and dusty. Shouldn't be banging on that plastic end of it. Gosh, that's dirty. Well, I'll clean it up, blow it out. I brought a small compressor, I'll blow it out, and then at least it's good enough to hopefully get this thing started. So if we can get it to run, we'll just throw that back in there. There's our radiator and a lid for it, so let's dig in there. There we are. I don't see anything, so we'll add some to it. Hopefully it's just a little low. And I believe that's our hydraulic tank there. hydraulic fluid tank. And let's see what's behind door number 3 here. Probably fuel. Yep, fuel. Yeah, there's a little bit down there at the bottom. Smells okay. Probably try and run it if we can get this thing to turn over. So the controls here, these all seem free, nice and loose. Nothing's stuck here, which is, that's a good sign. We've got our ignition here. Looks like our glow plugs there. Some fancy wiring going on there. That one's completely disconnected, so I'm sure we'll have to fix that before we try and do anything else. What else should we do first? Let's go check that hydraulic fluid. Oh, look, there's some kind of a sight glass here. Hydraulic oil. I think it's about here. I can't really see though. On this gauge, it's so weathered. Let's look inside the tank. What do you got in here? I can see some, so we'll add some more. We'll add some more to it. But that means we've got a hydraulic leak somewhere, which isn't really shocking. Tracks, they're rusty, they're dirty, they're grimy, but the sprockets don't look bad. Looks like we got the adjuster and stuff in here. I'm not even gonna bother getting into this right now. We'll get it home first and we'll do our adjustments if we need to. Let's see. It's probably really dark for you guys, but I don't see any huge cracks or major things going on underneath. So, all right, let's throw a battery on and see if we get any life out of it. Testing the battery here, and that ain't gonna do it. 4.8 volts, so let's get a new one in there. So we do have this wire that's completely disconnected, which I'm sure is critical to something. Key, let's see. Precautions for starter, preheat to, okay. So preheat left, start to the right, main switch off, on, that's on, and then light should be right there. We got an extra click in there. Let's start there. Let's see if it'll bump over. I'm hearing a click. Okay, we'll go one more click on the key. Just a click from the starter. All right, let's leave that on. Let's go back to the starter, take a closer look. It sounded like the solenoid was clicking. I don't know if you could hear it on camera. You can see it looks like someone tried to solder right there. There's a solder connection, no covering on it whatsoever. So I'm sure this is what we're gonna run into throughout it. There's gonna be all these little hacks and wiring gremlins like that, just disintegrating. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and bypass this starter really quick just to see if we get any signs of life out of it. So we'll disconnect here. And I should get some kind of, let's see here. And there we go, now we're clicking. Oh, look. Engine started to spin over. I'm a little concerned about that because it didn't do much. All right, so next order of business, we got to make sure this engine can spin freely, make sure, I don't know, maybe that's just a weak starter, or we have a locked up engine. I hope not, but let's get a bar in there, see if we can break it loose, or see if we can turn it first, I should say. Maybe we'll drain a little oil, see if we got any water in there too. Oh, man. All right, no water down there. That's a good sign. There's no access right now to get in there with a socket. I'm gonna try and turn this fan by hand. It's hard to see down there. You can see the bottom or the top of that hose right there. Let's see. Oh, there we go. It's spinning. It's probably hard for you guys to see, but yeah, it's spinning. Let's see if we can get a full revolution out of it. Sorry for the camera word, but it's not a better angle. This fan's just falling apart too. I had to set that camera down. I just couldn't do it with one hand, and I was able to get it to turn one full revolution. So engine's free, we're good there, and we're gonna turn our attention back over here to the starter. I think we've just got an electrical issue, maybe a weak starter. So let's keep troubleshooting it. I'm gonna go into the cab there. I'm gonna replace those two wires. Let's look at those. These were fuses at one point, but you can tell someone's just, yeah, this is just completely disintegrated and shot here. So I don't have any fuses with me right now, and I don't know what it takes. So I am just gonna go ahead and just directly connect these two just to see if we can get life out of it, and we'll fix that later. These Kubotas have a compression release on them, so here on the top, we'll see if we can get it to spin freely. Yep. So we may just have a weak starter there, and if that's all it is, that would be great, because we can just replace or rebuild that pretty quick. But let's continue on. We'll look for some more electrical. Maybe there's something weird going on with the electrical system we haven't found yet. Okay, well, I'm gonna pull that starter, and I'm gonna go have it rebuilt. No sense in just fighting with it, so a little bit of bad news here. The timeline that I had got shortened quite a bit. I was given a certain amount of time to get everything off the property, but an emergency popped up. The old owner had to take off, and I had to leave the property as soon as possible, so I didn't get a chance to set up my cameras and do what I really wanted to do as I was getting that starter installed. Only thing I was able to do is get the drone up in the air and get some aerial shots of me loading the excavator here. So good news is it was pretty boring. There wasn't much to it. It was just a new starter rebuild that went back into the machine, fired right up, and drove it onto the trailer. So now that I have it home, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through it, and I'll show you some other stuff I found on it after I had unloaded it off the trailer. There's some hydraulic leaks and things like that, so let's take a closer look at those. So the first thing is this hydraulic leak on both of these cylinders here. This is for the blade in the front, and you can see these wiper seals are, these are just shot right here. Everything in here is leaking. There's a puddle underneath. Let's see if I can show you better. There's a bunch of grease, but kind of suspected that. So there's the bulk of our leak back underneath. Can't tell if there's a leak or if we're just kind of seeping or something's dripping down back in here, but you can see there's a little bit of something going on. And this cylinder, this is actually nice and dry. I was expecting this one to be a little bit more beat up, but that one actually looks pretty good. This cylinder, dry as well, so I think we're okay for right now on that guy. Looks like we do have a small leak here We'll just go ahead and tighten that up. Hopefully that'll fix the problem. And all these hoses, you can see there's, you know, these fittings and stuff, there's just some seepage and stuff going on, but these hoses are just completely cooked, so those have to go. But with that new starter in there, thing fires right up, so you can hear the fuel pump turn on there. I think every bushing, every pin on this thing is pretty worn out, but nothing that can't be fixed. So let's go ahead and pressure wash this thing, really get that dirt off there, see what we're dealing with. So I got a lot of the dirt knocked out of there. There's still a lot of grease, but we'll keep going. I wanted to just kind of show you this really quick. This is why I love pressure washers. These things are like the biggest, they're the quickest thing you can do to change the appearance of equipment that's been sitting a while. You can see right here, original paint here. This is all just, you know, dirt and junk that stuck to it that made it look really faded. So this paint actually isn't faded. It's just got a big layer of crust on it. So that pressure washer makes quick work of that, and it's gonna really change the look of this. I know it's not gonna look new, but it'll certainly look a lot better. So I'm gonna keep going and see what it looks like when it's done. Well, now that most of that mud and grease is on me and on the ground, the excavator is looking a little bit better. I'd say 5, maybe 10% improvement on that thing. I don't know, probably highballing it there a little bit, but it does look a little bit better. So the real reason I'm doing that though is just to check the frame of the machine, make sure there's nothing structurally wrong, make sure there's no big cracks or issues in there, things that we don't want to deal with. I just don't want to sink a lot of time and money into it only to find out that the thing is broken beyond repair. I didn't see anything like that yet, so hopefully we can continue this project, and I think we can. So next up is going to be hydraulic cylinders. We're going to do the hydraulic cylinder rebuild, put some new lines on it, do a full service. There's a whole lot of stuff we got to do on this. So my guess is we're going to have probably 2, maybe 3-part series on it. I do want to repaint it, I think, at the end, just to make it look better. A lot of this stuff is just scuffs and dings. It just needs a fresh coat of paint on it as well. So as long as we can get it running good, mechanically, you know, operational, then we will go ahead and do the cosmetic stuff on it in a future video. So make sure you subscribe because we will be back with some more. Thanks for watching.